Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Hobbit, your audio is so much better.
Oh yeah.
I got my new phone back, so I'm so happy.
And your
So
connection's
cool.
better as well. We can actually hear you crisp.
I'm so glad.
Okay. So we'll just kick in from where we were last week after you guys smashed down the door of the suspect known as Marden's house. Scouted around to find that a lot of his belongings had been taken. Went down into the basement to discover a big slimy cube. And a note pertaining to the fact that somebody within the Lord's inner circle was trying to overthrow him, and that Marden had fled to the Gat Shadow Mountains. You then went back to the Lord's Manor, reported your findings to him only, in after some sneaky deception, and decided that you guys were gonna go look for him the next day. Is that right?
Well, we rested, if I remember rightly, or
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
asked to
yeah.
rest, and we was going to regroup and come up with our requests for any travelling items that may aid us in locating Marden, if of course that's where we was going. And the question of where we were heading was to the nearest town or village to where we currently are. Of course,
Okay.
we as a group know otherwise.
Mhm. So you all spent the night in the Lord's manor. Um,
Good.
you you wake fully rested and fully spell slotted up. Um, and come down for breakfast in the morning. He's got a large kind of banquet hall, and there's like plenty of servants putting all kinds of food out. Um, some are taking food up to his bedchambers, as he's not still not well enough to come down to eat. But all of you who spent your nights in separate rooms come down and reconvene over breakfast.
Um, Robert will sit at the table, and irrespective of how he comes across, i.e., very kind of like working class appearance, obviously looks dusty and dirty, but he strangely eats his breakfast very daintily with a knife and fork, and carefully cuts his food in a selective manner.
Axe sits down at the table and bows his head briefly to say a quick prayer of thanks to his God for the food. He does it under his breath. He doesn't really wish to inflict religion on anybody else around the table, and then proceeds to eat in not quite as dainty a manner as Robert, but not crude, but most definitely efficient. You know, if anybody was to try and talk to him, he wouldn't reply. He's too busy eating.
Okay, the rest of you do, Valerie and Vix, you also come down and join.
Yeah, Valerie comes down, eats politely, I guess.
I will join and I will eat politely and very little.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be there's not anybody else eating with you guys, just the four of you. But there's plenty of servants kind of rushing around, like housemaids, that kind of thing. All just getting ready for whatever chores they have for the day. That just their general daily routines. Um,
Question:
yeah.
Are there sausages?
There is definitely sausages, sausage, bacon, eggs. There's also like fruit salads. Um,
Would there be
anything.
anything from where I'm from at all, just out of convenience, by any chance?
No, it's mainly like farm foods.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
fine.
it's a pretty like rural area.
That's fine. I'll eat everything that's there then.
Hmm Yeah, it's pretty rural, so it's a lot of it's farm foods. And despite the fact that there is like a pretty severe food shortage within the city, like it's a pretty banging spread. Um,
At grabs a napkin and starts and basically tries and hide about a dozen sausages wrapped in this napkin in his bag. Hey,
okay,
you never know.
okay, yeah. I mean, there's nobody really around to stop you, and you're not sure if they would if they did see you, but you kind of sneaky stuff them in your pocket. You get a good handful, like maybe like 12, maybe 14 sausages. Like it's a good lot of sausages.
Is there anything that's like what we would class as like non-perishable things that last a long time?
Um, like I said, it's mainly farm food, so everything's gonna be pretty perishable.
Okay, no
It's
worries.
gonna be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
not any
like
like bread or anything like that.
there would be bread there, yeah. There's
I'll
bread.
I'll take enough bread to bump up my rations by another day if
Okay.
that's doable.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of food out and not a lot of people eating.
Sure.
Just you guys, so
Robert will take a moment and hello, Vix. Is it Vix, yes?
I don't know if she can hear you. Vix, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry, a bit tired. Um. So I we were eating at the table. We don't.
Robert was talking to you.
Oh my bad. Sorry. Can you
That's
repeat
okay.
that?
It seems that you'd not sleep very well.
Yeah, you got a
I
pretty tough night's sleep, I'd say.
Well, I don't really sleep. I trance. So
Yeah.
and so would I be rooming with anyone?
Everyone got their own rooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no one saw me sleeping.
No.
Okay.
I'd like to make
So,
sure that Vix, you seem to understand the ways of world. Well,
yes.
what do you think we should request for our travel?
Well, transportation means I would of course prefer individual horses so as to not, hinder ourselves with a cart.
To knowing where you are going is you're gonna have to travel from Kymel over to Westrun, and then from Westrun through the Cliff Keep Mountains into Gat Shadow, which is like a giant, like mile high mountain in
Yes,
the middle of it.
which means that we could, of course, stable the horses in West Run with a minimal fee since we wouldn't have a cart.
Do you not think it's more difficult to feed individual horses rather than like one or two?
Well, I think that the road between Kimmel and West Run would be slower in a cart.
Okay, we'll see if we can request these horses. Do you think we require anything else?
Nothing that comes to mind at the moment, but I am not an expert in chases.
And,
Is anybody? I put down my fork. Finally finished. Does anybody know the terrain very well between here or there, or maybe we need a map?
Uh, between here and there, like a few of you might kind of have a general idea, but nobody's really made like that exact trip. But like there is a large map in the like there's a lot of like art on the walls and like paintings and stuff like that. So there is like a big map of tal'dorei, like in his like the foyer of his mansion. I don't know, like you'd
We
have
know
to
the
ask.
direction, but the terrain, I guess, is a bit more tricky to understand.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's a road. You can take a road between. I mean, Kaimal's like a fairly well-known city, and Westrun is like a big city. So there's definitely roads and trade routes and stuff like that between the two. You wouldn't be completely like roughing it on rough terrain the whole way there. You could travel on the roads there.
Sure.
But
Do you have anything you would like to request for travel?
Sorry, was that to me?
Yeah.
No, if we've got horses, trail rations, a map, I'm good to go.
And Little Hobbit. Valerie, sorry.
Oh, hi.
is there anything you need for the trip?
Don't think so. Probably just the same, like transportation, whatever everyone else has said, transportation, rations, etc.
Okay. Looking over the map from Kaimal to Westrun, giving it like a rough estimate of how long it's going to take. Does somebody want to try and figure out roughly how long it's going to take?
I would give it a guess. It's possibly 3 to 4 days travel.
Do you want to make a nature check on it?
Oh, yeah. I'll do that.
See how well you can estimate the travel times.
Nature,
Some
you
a
say?
survival check. A
Oh,
survival check.
okay. Survival. The same mod anyway.
So, 12's pretty even. You think like you were like, yeah, I'm pretty certain it's gonna take like 3 days. You take a look at the map, and it looks a considerable amount longer than that, like double at least, if not longer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna take you like the better part of a week at least.
Okay. So rations. We need plenty of rations.
So yeah, look at like if you look on the big map on the Roll20 page, and you got Kaimal and Westrun, and then Gat Shadow is like I don't know why they haven't drawn it in on this version of the map,
It's up here,
but
isn't it?
it's like right here.
Oh, okay.
It's like like right on the edge of Westrun. On like the like official like Tal'dorei map, it's on there. It's like marked on there.
Okay.
Mm. So yeah, I think this map's not quite to scale. But yeah, it's gonna take about a week's worth of travel. So anything you guys might think you might need for a week's worth of travel?
Tents, maybe?
Foods.
I
Camping
do agree
supplies.
on tents and food.
Okay. If we are finished with food, we'll make request now. We need to move.
Yes. Grab some tents, grab some food, grab some horses. Let's get moving.
Okay. After you guys finish eating and start.
Just before we leave, I would like to note that Robert will take the time to stack the plates for the maids and the cleaners and so on.
Okay, it's good to know.
He's
Like
very house trained.
yeah, they catch you to like everyone else like kind of gets up and begins to walk out, and the housemaids like kind of catch you doing it, and like one of them tries to stop you, and another one like kind of stops them, and they watch you for a minute, like stack them, and then turn and leave, and are just very confused by the whole thing. But yeah, on your way out, you leave through the front doors, and it's fairly early morning outside. But outside the gates of the estate is Hallion, the king's like main guard, and he's kind of just issuing orders to other soldiers.
What's the mood? Is the city being prepared, being made more secure? Would it be only around the manor? Are the guards looking nervous? Not especially at Hallion, but also his subordinates.
Yeah, he's clearly not had any sleep. And he's like putting out strict orders. Everyone's doing like double shifts. Um, he's like doubling patrols around the entire city, but he's got like constant guards on the Lord's manor and kept outside of his room. But they're also kind of trying to deal with the fact that a lot of the townsfolk are now really starting to question the state of the Lord. Like they're still not sure whether he's alive or dead, and it's starting to cause a little disturbance within the townsfolk.
So this probably means they didn't get the word out, probably because we didn't find more.
Yeah, they're still not sure if they should, tell the townsfolk that he's okay,
You know
or
what? Not my job.
yeah, you can leave that to them. That is their job. You can totally leave it to them. You don't have to give them any advice. Fuck those guys.
I,
Mm.
I, I would think that Robert wouldn't be quite sure that it was his place to say anything. Not that it's not his job, rather than it's not his place to get involved in someone else's political events.
Same
Mhm.
difference.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay, so who do we ask for our requests?
We can first check with Hallion. If he's not too busy, he will probably assign an unassigned guard to give us the information on where to go, or we could investigate on our own so as to not bother people who are working.
Robert will take this time. He'll point his finger at Vix, but he'll say, "You are very charismatic. Perhaps you should take lead and ask them." And then he'll go, "Ack."
What?
So even though he was pointing his finger at Vix, he was actually suggesting that Axe was gonna be the one to lead the questioning of what we require.
Okay.
it's a very confusing moment for the rest of you.
Complete
Alright.
misdirection.
I take a step, on the side so as to not be in the path of the finger, and
Finger kind
I'm
of follows you.
very confused.
Complete misdirection. You see a playful smile in Robert's face as he does it.
Trickery domain. No, just kidding.
Well, if you want me to be charismatic, we could try, but I'm going to need some preparation and I think about 3 bottles of brandy. Of course, I'm the only one that'll think I'm charismatic after 3 bottles of brandy, but
Wait, people think you are charismatic with 3 bottles of brandy. Would they perchance have 3 more bottles of brandy, but in themselves? When they say
quite
that to you.
possibly. But I actually said that I'm the only one that may think I'm charismatic when I've had 3 bottles of brandy.
I'll say that, and then I'll cast bless on everyone. The other 3, other than myself, around me.
Okay.
Okay.
So you should get 1d4.
Okay, so are you guys going to speak to him or just go it alone?
No, we'll go and speak to him. We know where he's reclining, so
Yeah, I mean, you like as you walk out of the front of the house, he's pretty much like out there, like barking orders at other like kind of soldiers.
okay. So stroll up to him and wait for him to take a moment from his order barking.
Okay, you wait a few moments, and he kind of stops like mid bark, and kind of turns to you guys, and he's like, "Can I help?"
Yes, we're about to set off on our assignment. We were informed that you might be able to help us with our provisioning.
Do you have a list or?
Funny you should mention that. And I get out the list. Comically, the list rolls down to the floor and goes across the yard. No.
Okay, well, everything seems fairly reasonable, and we've definitely got the budget for it. You can go in and get these items yourself, or we can send somebody to get them for you while you get sort horses out.
Oh, that sounds like a plan. We'll go and pick some horses if you would have somebody put together the rest of the stuff for us, please.
Yeah, sure. And then as he says that, like a kind of like younger looking soldier kind of runs past, and he grabs him as he passes, hands him the list, and then he's like, go, and like sends him off to go and get your items. He turns back to you and he says, if horses you're looking for, there's a small stables just outside the city gates. There's a man called, and let me find his name for continuity. His name. There's a guy. There's a an older gentleman named Sil who tends to the horses out there. He'll do you the best horses at the best price, definitely.
Hold on, we're not buying horses. They're being provided for us.
Well, make sure you get a good price, and the Lord will pay. Just let him know that he's paying.
Okay, so we're going to go and argue with the horse trader.
He kind of he laughs that off and leans into his pocket and takes out. It's like almost like a silver piece, but it's very specific in design, like like it's minted in a way that you haven't seen. And he says, "Give this to the man, and he'll see to it that the Lord pays."
Sounds like a plan to me. I take the coin and look askance to the rest of my group. Shall we?
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry, I'm nodding like people can see me. Yes.
Well, actually, when Vix hears about horses, there is suddenly some sort, you know, anime blushing waifu shit on her cheeks. Like, she, horses. Oh my god, horses are cool. She's not saying that, it's just that
That's the
she
look.
That's the
for
expression.
up until at that moment she had been quite stoic and quite a marble statue, and this is the first kind of emotion that is not frustration or a disdain that you see on her face.
He just sort of shrugs and goes, "Eh." That's it. He makes no further comment.
Okay, so you guys, you make your way through the city center of Kymel. Robert, I assume, will lead the way. You know them this way pretty well.
This is
You
how
know
I
where you
got
go.
here.
Yeah, you know the city pretty well, and it's pretty obvious to everyone else that you clearly know your way around.
Oh yeah, I'm a total resident.
Mhm.
I'm a
Yeah,
man
yeah,
about town.
yeah. You're definitely a local, like in comparison to everybody else. Valerie knows her way around like a little bit, like a fair bit, but not quite as well as you do.
Mm.
So you lead the you know the four of you um through the city center, and it's still pretty early, and the traders are just starting to come out, and the shops are opening up, and but it's still not particularly busy yet. You make your way out through the front gates of the city, and um, it's immediately opens up into farmland and like heavily wooded areas that surround the city, and further away from the base of the mountains that kind of are on the back of the city, and into the heavily wooded areas at the front. Um, and
So
sure enough,
wait. What did we walk away with? So we've got our horses, right?
you have not got your horses yet. The horses stable is just outside the city
Outside.
gate.
Okay.
And as
And
soon as you come outside the city gate, sure enough,
sure.
there is a fairly good sized stable outside.
Do I see anyone around?
Yeah, only like farm hands, and like everybody's just kind of starting their day. Like, so there is a lot of people. Some farmers that have houses within the city are going out into their lands to start like working on crops and livestock and whatever else.
Oh, yeah.
But in the stables themselves, yeah, there's a few people working there, and there is the older gentleman. You can only assume is Sil.
Hello, is sorry, is your name Seal?
Yes.
We've been asked to inquire regarding some horses.
Mm, yes, we have horses.
The we are been tasked to do, and it's at this stage. You can kind of see that the language barrier between Robert and others are kind of a
Yeah.
bit sort of weaker, and he kind of looks back at Ack and Vix and like gives the please.
Ack takes pity on him and strolls forward. Yeah. Listen, we've been sent by your lord to pick up some horses. We don't need
Okay.
anything flash. We don't need anything fancy. We need good, solid animals.
Yes, you're more than welcome if it's for the Lord to pick whichever horses you need.
Oh.
You guys take a look. There's a couple of really like definitely weak horses that don't look great, but they're kind of like grazing out like a back area. There's quite a few like pretty nice looking horses.
Can I do an insight check to see if I can pick the best horses?
Sure.
Well, it's worth a shot.
Insight. I mean 12 again. Like, yeah, you can see which ones are slightly better than others, but you're not like super sure like what makes them better. But you're like, that one looks better.
Who's got
Like, that one's
survival?
good.
Animal handling, anyone?
Uh, it's not that I have animal handling. It's just that I am getting to a horse and
Hmm.
whether it's the one in good condition or not, it won't matter to me because I'm gonna pet him and I'm gonna want him or the whatever.
Yeah, do it like as you kind of approach like the kind of fenced off area that these animals are kind of grazing in, you hold a hand out, and the first horse that approaches is this like is a really nice looking like big, strong, just dark black horse. Is the first horse that approaches you.
I
And
simply go for petting and if I find, tack or or apples and any sugar, I give it to them. If I can find any from one of the stable hands moving around or whatever, and and I'm very animals are cool. Animals are the only thing that are giving me happiness.
yeah, sure, you feed it.
I don't sing. It's just that I'm describing what you're seeing. If Vic
Two
was
little
the
feet
kind to sing
patting on the
like I
floor.
am, she would probably be, the anime tropes of the cute girl going petting all the animals, Disney princess that talks to animals, even though she's not even that good at it. She just loves animals.
You seem to be getting on pretty well with this animal, and when you do, like, Sil comes over and he says, is this the one that you'll be wanting?
Well, I we certainly do. We
She's a good horse. She'll do you good, I'm sure.
Well, she does certainly seem to not dislike me.
Sure.
Vix,
The you two fellas, you any preference, or you just
no
pick
preference for me,
strong
just
ones?
make sure that the horse is sturdy enough. But please, Vix, you look like a child excited with new toy. Now, please remember
Who
that
are you calling child?
everything has a price, and we still have to have budget. Perhaps
Indeed,
if we can get good price, we can get your lovely horse.
I am aware of that. I still keep petting the horse, but I really I ignore Robert, and I am allowed to pet the horse at least.
Now, so
Well,
let's discuss payment. How much for all the horses we require?
I can pick you two good ones for you two fellas. This lovely dark horse for the lady here, and well, I assume something slightly smaller for this human female. And he kind of points to Valerie's. Maybe a mule. Uh,
Not after
they,
half breeds. We would like
Well,
pedigree
sir,
horses at least.
Have you a
well,
pony for the young lady?
we could do something. The whole lot is gonna cost you about 400 gold, I would say.
Okay, I
Sil.
immediately start haggling.
Oh, I was gonna place my hand on his shoulder and be like, now, friend, please, surely you can do better.
May I also remind all of us that our mission is time sensitive.
Well, I could always use the locksmith, and then it wouldn't cost us anything.
I love that it's now called the locksmith.
Robert just pumps up his chest a little bit, but it's not to be intimidating. It's more like a sigh of.
Yeah,
This
you did
doesn't
put
need
you
to
put
get
your
out of
hand on his
hand.
shoulder. Do a persuasion check.
Oh yes. That was a 23 for you.
Nice, yeah. You put your hand on his shoulder and he looks at you and he squints even more so than he regularly squints. He's a really short, kind of like hunched over old guy, like rough old like farmer's hands, like rough skin where he spent like his whole life like out in the sun.
I mean,
He
I would
squints
add the
even more.
context and be like, look, Lady Pooh obviously likes your horse.
Yeah, I can take a little off that one. Cut a little off the
I
rest.
I try to when I hear that, I do go back to my natural behavior around animals of being, I try to lay on the cute.
Okay. Yeah. You just do a general charisma check while as he like looks over at you. To fucking hell. He's like
Sorcerer, bitch.
he, he's yeah. You say this, and he looks over at Vix, and you see he kind of nods his head, and then looks back at you and says, "They do seem to have a bond. How does 275 sound?"
Robert kind of almost chokes a little bit in the generosity and it's just like, I think this is good price.
I mean, it's
Do we?
23 persuasion followed by a 19
What
charisma
was
check
that?
is really
275.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot this. And I also pull out the note of that says that we have a discount. Did y'all forget we had a discount?
I kind of did.
Oh, I hate when customers do that to me in reality.
Well, it was a generous discount I already gave you, and this says the bearer of the document's entitled to 15% at any vendor in the city of Kaimur. I would
Well,
say I'm outside,
well,
so
it depends. Where do you pay your taxes? To
okay,
whom do you pay your taxes?
take the 15%. He tried so hard not to give me 15%.
We, you know what they say. Some people don't believe they have a deal before they have cheated a merchant.
So that will come out at about 257. That was a fucking deal. Yeah, well done. 257 that comes down to.
I hand him the.
No.
233.
No, 233. Yeah, you're
233.
right.
Okay, I hand him the token we were given to to cover this.
I shall send the bill to the Lord immediately.
Robert will continue by the tapping now of the shoulder after releasing, smiling, looking back at Vix and kind of giving a nod and like a well played smile.
And I, do the very composed and poised acknowledgement of of bending, the neck, like what the, I just, make that head, that nod, that nod.
So they get Vix's horse out for and they have these two like proper like stallion type horses, like dark brown coats, like real nice for you two, and then like a slightly smaller, more kind of pale brown horse for Valerie. And he hands you like a couple of papers as well. He says these are the horse's ownership papers. He says these are yours, but they are owned by Lord Jacta. Um, so look after them.
Of course.
Naturally.
They'll do you well. None of them are named, so you're welcome to name them yourselves. But
Oh, that was what I was about to ask.
In addition, just in case, do you have papers for horses so we can prove the ownership?
yeah,
That's what
that's what he's just handed you. Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
but they're not owned, technically not owned by you. They're owned
No.
by the Lord.
We at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's essentially like you've bought them for him, and you're going to use them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, where do we need
He
to get to next?
hands you like a bag full of like feed as well.
Uh,
Yeah, and a brush. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, so I know how to look after a horse.
me too.
Feed one end, stay clear of the other. Ride the middle. Can't go too far wrong.
Okay, so where do we need to head to next? We need camping supplies.
No,
The
if we ride back to the Lord's compound, everything else was being put together for us.
yeah. He is somebody sorting it all out for you. You don't even have to shop for it.
Brilliant. Okay, let's pick up supplies.
Yeah, you head back in, and you the guy is well, like as you get back, he's already like collected everything you needed. You could get most of it in the same in similar like shops like general goods stores and stuff like that. There wasn't too many crazy items on there. So he hands you like bed rolls each and tents. He only got 2 tents. But they're pretty good, like sturdy tents.
We'll have to double up.
Yeah, enough rations for the trip for how long you assume the trip's gonna take. So like about a week's worth of rations. Um, for each of you. Um, what else did you ask for? Oh, and he says there was one thing on the list that I couldn't get. And it was a bag of holding. Um, I spoke to a guy, said he didn't have one, but he said he had this haversack instead.
So, not so much bag of holding, more of bag of carrying shit around.
Yeah, the handy haversack.
Ah.
Yeah.
Same principle, greatly reduced.
Yep.
Don't we have also the fact that when you look around the haversack, it's not a full action because you don't have to, because you don't have to look for things. There's something about the handy haversack that you can get when you're in a Mortal Kombat. You don't have to spend a full action to look for something in there.
Retrieving an item from the haversack requires you to use an action.
Oh, it's an action still?
Yeah. When you reach inside the haversack for a specific item, the item is always magically on top.
Okay.
It's in the compendium on Roll20.
Who holds the sack?
Who wants it?
Who's got the highest? Who's the strongest?
What's your strength modifier?
+3.
+4, so I'll probably take it then.
You get to carry the shit.
This is when Valerie's like +6.
No.
No,
I
she
don't
doesn't.
think that +6 is not possible.
It
She
is.
might be
Right.
small, but she's mighty.
The only way
Probably
you
not.
get a sort of a +6 as a strength mod is like when you virtually are like a furbolg. You're not really +6. You just have a feature.
Yeah, you can extend past the limit if you have items or like
Yeah,
booms.
but it's items.
Yeah. But yeah, nobody's actually got that. I think Robert is the strongest. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You take this like it is like a small backpack, and you like put it on, and then it looks even smaller on your like dwarven form. Even though you're short, you're quite stout, and this like tiny little bag. It's like those little tiny like Nike bags that people wear. Like it's like one of those, like comparatively on your back.
Okay.
Does it come with a suitably chappy baseball cap?
It doesn't. But it would be a sick magic item. But yeah, it says it has a central pouch, 2 side pouches, each of which is an extra dimensional space. Each side pouch can hold up to 20 pounds of material, not exceeding a volume of 2 cubic feet. The large central pound can hold up to 8 cubic feet or 80 pounds of material. The backpack always weighs 5 pounds regardless of its content.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely an item to take something from the haversack. An action, sorry.
I love the fact that you can make an astro panel, an extra planar door gateway with two haversack.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your all your was that everything? That was everything on the list, right?
I think so.
7 days ration. Yeah.
Oh yeah, food, horse supplies. Did they give that with the
Yeah,
horse?
they gave you a horse feed and a brush.
I will like personally go back into town and buy like candy or whatever treat I can get for the horse. I will spoil that girl so hard.
Okay, yeah. As you make your way back out of the city, there's still like a lot of like stalls and vendors out from the festival the day before. So there's people selling like all sorts of treats. There's still like candy floss stalls and like sweets and um like sweet buns and stuff like that, like cinnamon rolls, whatever you need or
All
want
right.
to get.
Any kind of non-sugared, like not covered in sugar, in processed sugar. Processed sugar. Sugar is already processed. Well,
Yeah.
fruit. So I'll
Uh
take a couple of apples.
Yeah, sure. Like there's definitely like vegetable stalls and stuff. There's a big farming community, so you can pick up like like a decent sized bag of apples for like a copper piece. So you can get like a whole bag of them.
Robert will take this time to kind of just talk to his horse, but anyone overhearing can just hear like what sounds like in our knowing of the world is like a reversed playing of a tape recording, and I'm just kind of doing almost like the same sounds over and over, like a repetitive kind of thing. But unless anyone understands the language I'm speaking, all you can hear is the reverse sound, which the DM I'm hoping will know what I'm talking about.
Yes. I don't think anyone else can understand you. I'll have
I'm
to
lost.
quick check. Um, yeah, I don't think anyone else can understand you.
Okay.
Yeah, you just hear Robert speaking in bizarre tongues, like under his like. Are you doing it like quietly, or are you out loud?
Not like quietly, but I'm not shouting it.
Yeah, so you'll kind of catch him like speaking strangely.
It's what, stranger than normal?
Oh yeah, much stranger than normal.
Okay then. I need to just check something. Let's see.
So
I
you
was
guys
just seeing if I'd check alignment or something like that. Nope, don't have it.
yeah, I mean, you guys can make any sort of check or ask or whatever. If you're just happy to just leave it for now, then
No, I'm just Robert. I don't quite recognise your accent. Where are you from, sir?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Where? I'll put my teeth in and get this right. Where do you call home?
This place, Camel, is my home.
And before Camel?
That is going like places that I'm really uncomfortable about.
we'll say you start this conversation as you start riding, and as this conversation starts, like Vix like doesn't speed off, but definitely like leads ahead a little bit.
Sure.
Good, Cassie.
There's not much I remember truly, but before my younger self, I was deep within the earth, if you like.
Hmm. Underground?
Yes, of sorts.
Hmm.
But only fragments return to me. I don't know much at all. My name and some flashing images sometimes.
Hmm. Sounds like a right mystery, that does.
Do you mean both?
Why not? I mean, do the flashing images make any sense?
No, not yet.
Well, who knows? We may be able to investigate that later.
I'm not sure if it's such a good idea.
I'll pray for guidance and see what happens.
You do that.
Do the rest of you guys, I mean, Vix made a pretty good animal handling check. Do the rest of you want to make one? We'll see how well you can bond with your horses on the start of this journey.
Okay.
Yeah, see how today goes. Robert, we just need one from you.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I think it might have cut out a little bit on the audio. I didn't hear it. There we go. Oh, I was actually. Can I ask again? Do I get advantage from my speaking to it?
Yeah, I will give you advantage for like at least trying to bond with it before riding it.
Okay. Let me do another one.
Oh,
I'll stick with the other one.
yeah. Ak, you're doing all right. Valerie, like, your horse isn't as impressive as everybody else's horses, like in stature, but you've got a pretty good handle on it, and it's keeping up with the rest, like, you're making a pretty good show of it. Robert, your strange tongues you spoke to it seem to unsettle it a little bit, and you're having a hard time kind of trying to
I'm a stocky
steer it a
fella.
little bit.
I get it.
Yeah. You like steering it is a little bit like it's a bit rigid, and yeah. But everyone else is looking pretty good. It's just
I'll
you're
make my
lagging
way to the
behind
back.
a little bit.
That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah. Out of embarrassment, you hang back a little bit. But yeah, so you begin the travel. It's through a lot of like open fields and farmland, but there's a clear cut like road um that you can follow on the way to Western. Um, a decent portion of you managed to knock out a decent portion of the first day at a good pace with no distractions. Um, you enter into uh, an area that is kind of surrounded more with sort of rolling hills. This is where the farmland area kind of cuts off and it becomes a little bit more like wildland. But the path still cuts through some of the more hilled sections as the end of the day starts to draw to a close.
Okay, so do we need to roll a tent putting up check?
You don't. You can definitely, if you guys want to stop and rest. It's up to you. You can totally just keep riding all the way through the night if you want to, but or you can rest. It's up to you guys.
So how long has it been since we've left the? Has it been a whole day since we've left?
Oh, yeah. You left like fairly early in the morning. Like you left like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're coming up to the evening now. Like
Okay,
at 7 o'clock ish.
sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, if I see anyone else slowing down, then Robert's happy to slow down and rest for the day.
Well, it's been a hard day riding for Robert.
Indeed.
Yeah, it has. It's been a pretty hard day. Like not many of you are used to like hard travel, so even like a day's worth is kind of hard work. Um, the horses are getting pretty tired. Um, this area that you're in is definitely a lot more closed in, like with all the hills surrounding you. You're not on like open flat land anymore. It's up to you like where you guys want to camp. If you want to camp, yeah, in the lows between like hills or on top or wherever. Like, that's up to you guys. Where you feel
Okay, so
best to camp.
I assume we're just going to set up a basic camp. I'm in favour of camping slightly on a slope so that if it rains, it runs away from us.
Yeah, we'll have both the tents facing each other, like so. Both entrances are like adjacent from each other.
Fire in the middle.
Seems legit.
Okay, yeah.
Robert's
And
always happy to take first watch if needed.
Well, I'm only human, so unless you want me taking watch with a lamp, it's either got to be just as the sun's coming up or before the sun goes down.
I have the same problem with like if I'm going to walk because I'm on.
That's fair then, as I could see in the dark, so I'll happily wait.
Well, I do not need much rest. If anyone should take a longer, should need to sleep more, or should not, or is not confident in their ability to take watch, I will.
Well, Ack's fairly comfortable on horseback. He didn't have much problem really with the ride, so he's still good for a few hours yet. So he's willing to take first watch if Valerie. God damn it, Hobbit! I've forgotten what your character's name is.
Valerie.
Valerie.
Valerie,
Yep.
it is. Okay, if Valerie's willing to, if you're willing to take the morning watch.
That's good.
Okay. So Robert and then Ilu.
Sorry?
Vix.
Vix.
Yes, Vix.
So Robert, you want to go next and then Vix, or vice versa?
If Vix
I can
does
take
not
I can
require
take like
much.
this. I can basically take like the worst middle
Double watch in the
like
middle then.
yeah, double watch in the middle. Like just let me trance for 4 hours and then I'll take.
Okay, so
You
if
could you could do Ack for a few hours, and then when it starts getting dark, you can do Robert for a few hours,
Yeah, we'll do that.
and then Vix can do like the majority of the night, and then like the kind of early hours of the morning, Valerie can take over.
seems like a plan.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, you have something to eat before you sleep.
Yeah,
Definitely. So
I
that
used the bread up first that I stored. I'll just kind of eat away and
Well,
hold out the block of bread to anyone else to sort of see if anyone wants to break some off and help themselves.
I
well,
pull out my napkin full of sausages.
I had spare rations before I came to the city, so I'll take the oldest ration in my bag and eat that. No bread.
so you all kind of gather around the fire and have something to eat.
Mhm.
The sun begins to set, so the three of you, Vix, Valerie, and Robert, kind of head down for a few hours. Ack, you're up on your own. You want to make a perception check?
Yeah, can do. Du-du-du-du-du.
23.
There is
know that
fuck all out there.
you, you see everything. You see that Vix does not appear to breathe as she sleeps.
Yeah, it's pretty unsettling.
I see that and make a mental note.
But you spot like a couple of trade wagons, like kind of last minute, traveling through, maybe like late on their runs, kind of going through the road, kind of slightly below, through the kind of low ground in the hills, early on, and then as it starts getting darker, um, and the roads become less used, you do see like various wildlife, nothing that seems dangerous. Just like general like wild cattle and stuff like that. Um, that have maybe got lost from the fields or are passing through. But you do spot as it gets darker, like a faint light somewhere, a little further, like from your slightly higher ground, like in the low ground, like maybe a couple miles out, like maybe 10, 15 miles out, like a small flickering light, like a flame.
Like a small campfire might be.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well,
Other than that, your 2 hours watch is uneventful.
as my watch comes to an end, I go and nudge Robert. Robert,
What is going on?
it's your turn for the watch. There's nothing to be excited about.
Oh,
There looks to be a small camp, sort of down from us and over that way a bit. Looks like a small fire, but nothing eventful. Nothing more eventful than that.
okay. Good to know. Make sure you rest well, friend.
Aye, aye. So I'm going to bed down now.
Yeah. Robert will take his time to sort of look around the perimeter as he
Yeah.
passes his horse. He'll, if anyone is to overhear, he uses another tongue in his language box and see if the horse responds better to that.
Okay,
And
so you kind of you keep an eye out on watch, but you also try and form a bit more of a bond with your
yeah,
horse.
just a short sort of 5 minutes, and like as I'm looking around as well, but just kind
Yeah.
of.
Make a perception check.
I'm not very good at perception. See?
Yeah. You take you take a look out, and you're what campfire? And then yeah, you take a watch. Again, like other than like the general wildlife, there's not even anyone passing through on the roads. Everything's fine for the few hours that you take watch.
Okay. I give Vix the most. I want to do it with a sleight of hand check to see if she actually responds.
You're cutting out.
Sorry, what? I said I want to try and use a sleight of hand check to sort of tap Vix, but like not. I don't want her to respond, but I want to see if she responds.
Okay, yeah, make a sleight of hand check. Vix, make a perception check. Oh yeah, she knows.
Yeah, that's fine.
She
So,
I'll just go.
there's like suddenly this corpse-looking body in a bedroll opens their eyes like in a horror movie, like suddenly, and no, gasp, because she actually was breathing, just it doesn't appear to be breathing,
Sure.
and she's like, is it my turn?
Yes. Ak was in the campfire somewhere. I find it hard to spot, but just be mindful.
All right. And I wait until Robert gets a bit away from my bedroll
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm a bit uncomfortable with the way he did it. Sleight of hand sounds a bit
Oh yeah, well, it
like
totally wasn't like that.
No, I think it
I
was
know,
more a
I
case of
didn't
he
mean.
sees how still you are and how quiet you
I
was,
mean,
so
I
it was
mean,
like,
wh-
are you
I meant,
alive?
I think he would be. I meant, I felt as if he was trying to steal something.
Oh no. Well.
Didn't mean anything else. Don't worry.
Yeah, you get up. You want to make?
Oh, maybe it's on my side. I'll check if something is downloading or weird. So yeah, what were you saying, Sam?
Do you want to make your perception check?
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
you
and
need.
there's also one other thing I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Uh, but I don't remember because, oh shit. During my watch, I would also like to sort of like examine my plants.
Yeah,
Not study them, but have them near me and see if something, breakthrough comes.
yeah. Do you want to make an intelligence check? Okay, yeah. You've studied them almost religiously uh for for a long time, and it is starting to make a lot more sense, especially since you first started looking at them, and things are starting to form, and you're starting to understand more. Um, definitely.
Okay, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you're definitely closer. You feel like you're on the edge of a breakthrough.
Cool, cool, cool.
Um, Definitely considering the fact that everyone's going to get a level up at the end of this session.
Oh,
Um,
yes, yes.
but yeah, you do take a little while to read those. And you look out over the kind of horizon, and you do see very clearly the small campfire a little off ways that Robert mentioned. Ack had seen, um, and it's your elf eyes see you like because your vision's a little clearer than his. So you can see a couple of figures there. Um, and you keep a close eye on them, and just watching over what they're doing. You can't make out like roughly like exactly how many figures there are, but there's maybe like five or six, um, maybe even seven. But you watch them for a few hours. There's not a lot of movement. The odd bit here and there, but after a few hours, like 3 hours into your watch, the the campfire goes out. It just goes dark.
Like suddenly, or did it wane?
Like it got stamped out.
All right.
Hmm.
Does it feel like dawn is close?
Your watch, yeah, you've been on watch for like 3 hours, and it's definitely a little bit lighter. You know that kind of that weird space when
Yeah,
the
sort of that
sun
sort
hasn't
of
come up.
weird green.
Yeah, it's kind of at that point. It's still like a good like 4 or 5 hours before the sun comes up, but it's definitely getting slightly lighter.
Okay.
So you just keeping an eye.
I'm keeping an eye. I sometimes take a pencil and doodle on a doodle on the plans and the design, and try to take note of what I thought would be cool, good, to maybe try and improve or try and finish the plan.
Okay, you do so, and you finish another hour uneventful.
I put away all the plans and all the secret things, and I crouch next to Valerie and put my hand on her shoulder. It's cold.
Okay, Valerie, you get waken up. You get woken up by Vix.
It's my turn. Okay. I just get up.
Just get
It's
straight up.
Boing.
and then I sit on my bedroll with my prayer book and read my prayer book.
Like that.
Okay, Valerie, you get up and you go outside. Like it's cold and the grass is kind of a little bit damp, and you can see like the kind of grooved out patch where Vix has been sitting for the last like 4 hours. You want to make a perception check? 21. Okay. You sit and you know you. It's very uneventful for a few hours, but the sun starts coming up and it starts to get a bit lighter, and you do see some people on horseback riding pretty fast, like full speed down the road that cuts through underneath where you guys are. Is about the only thing that you're seeing at the minute.
At some point, as the sun is starting to rise a bit more and more, I try to arrange, some manner of breakfast.
Okay, you get up and start cooking, and Valerie's still kind of keeping an eye on everything, a very keen eye on everything. And Valerie, you spot these riders kind of coming up real fast.
Meanwhile, Wack is still snoring.
Have we lost
Yeah.
Valerie?
Is she here?
Well, she's still in the chat. Are you
I'm
there?
here.
Yeah.
We didn't know if we lost you. Yeah, so like that's all you see. It's up to you. Like if you want to do anything about that, or just
Probably just tell Vix, there's a couple of people on horseback running pretty fast. Anything you think we should be concerned about?
Well, without being concerned, we can, it's pretty, light. The light has started to come up. Maybe we can softly wake up the boys and start making breakfast so that no one is caught while they're prone.
Sounds like a plan.
who's waking them up?
I'm waking up Ack.
I come to not quite. I don't pop awake. I sort of grouse my. It's morning already.
Guess I go wake up. Is he back
No,
yet?
we're in. Boys are in the same tent. Remember,
Yeah.
you only got to wake up one of us and then sort of say, wake the other one up.
Fair. Forget
Ro-
how you have
Robert wakes up with, okay, let's drink. And then it's kind of like, oh.
Having a good dream, were you, Robert?
Yes. A dream ended too soon, I feel.
It's generally the way of dreams.
Yeah, you two go outside. You feel that like the cold and damp. It's not been raining. It's just like the ground is just super, just condensated.
Oh, I'm totally getting dressed straight away. Like any gear that I've taken off to be more comfortable sleeping, I'm totally putting back on as hastily as I can because it's cold.
Yeah, I think it takes what like 15 minutes to don light heavy armor.
Well, I think mine's medium. I think is it? What have I got? I think I've got medium. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, probably about 15 minutes.
I've got chainmail, and I think chainmail is about 5 minutes to get a chainmail shirt on and off.
Yeah,
Five-
I think it is.
5 minutes each way.
I don't have the book to hand right now, but yeah.
Anyways,
It seems reasonable. 5 minutes each way.
Yeah, but Vix has breakfast ready. It's just you're just sort of finishing cooking.
master of many talents, Vix.
I nod my thanks to Vix. I'm not terribly talkative first thing in the morning.
I am not either.
It seems that you like to feed many animals, us included.
I'm sorry.
Yes. It seems that you like to feed many animals, us included.
Yes, that is not wrong.
And kind of smirks.
While you guys are having this conversation, Valerie's still keeping a close eye on everything. Her watch isn't still quite up, and she's taken the with that 21 perception check. She takes it very seriously.
Sure. Valerie, what is keeping you? Or why are you standing over there?
Just want to make sure. Lisa, don't want
Anything interesting?
just a couple of people riding past quite fast. And not sure if that's really important or if it's something we should be worried about, but it's definitely something we should.
Wait, are they heading in our direction?
Are they still in view?
You kind of, when she says this, you take a look, and they are. You can see them, and they are coming up real close. And there's like 6 of them, and they're all in the same kind of dark.
If we
Dark
see
clothes,
them, if
hoods
we
up.
see them, I stump out the fire as quickly as possible, and I get my
Okay. Insight check
Yeah,
on them.
sure, yeah. I mean, they're like maybe 4 or 5 miles off, but you can see them because like where the hills clear, you can see them coming up. They all appear to be like an organized group of some kind.
Do they look military or do they look like?
No, it doesn't look military. They're all
Right.
wearing like dark robes,
Okay.
hooded.
Let's back up. We need to go.
Yeah.
Ready for
Give-
battle if we need to.
Yeah. Okay. So I start taking down the tent.
Yeah, we do that as quickly as possible.
I'll keep an eye out just to keep watching.
Okay.
And I assume we fed the horses whilst we were having our own breakfast.
I would assume somebody would have.
Right. Okay. Looks like they're coming. Shall we go?
Yes, let's move. If we can avoid
Yeah.
trouble, let's avoid it.
So you guys begin. You pack up all your stuff. You pack up your horses, and during this time they've got a little bit closer. They're still a few miles out, but they're coming your direction on the road that you would need to take to go in that direction.
We have nothing to hide, and we have our own business. So I drive Cassie to like energized trot. I'm not sure if that's the right terms,
I don't know horse terms,
but
so I'll
there's
I'll
the
take energized
Like a
trot.
gallop.
that
I think Canter is the last one before Gallop.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
walk,
think
trot, canter, gallop.
maybe I'll take a canter.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Canter is like 5th gear.
And we have something before trot in French
Walk.
that I don't know about in English.
What's the
It's
French word?
But
it's marche, but like walking.
Yeah,
Walking
marsh.
speed, and then trot is like walking faster. Uh,
maybe
uh,
marching. The word
we have
march, maybe marching.
yeah, and then there is like an augmented trot that I don't remember the name of. That is probably that cancer you're talking about, and then there's of course gallop.
And now that we've discussed all of that,
yeah, so you're faster than a trot, but slower than a gallop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you guys make your way onto the road and you start riding up, it takes you like another like hour of riding, but they are approaching like pretty fast now, and they're kicking up like dust off the road, like they're riding real fast in your direction, and they don't seem to be slowing down at all. Um, they barely even pay you attention as they ride past. They don't have any belongings like big packs on them or anything like that. Like no camping gear other than like a bedroll on the back of their horse.
But they just
And
go
they
past.
all um they do they just like they almost knock all of you guys off your horses, but
I want to
they
totally
just
check them out as they
fly
go
past.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what they are, what they've got. Like in
Okay.
terms
Yeah.
of like what they look like and what they're wearing, if there's anything that stands out, or if
Yeah,
I can
sure.
is it worth
determine
doing
what
a
direction
perception
they're
check
going
on?
in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, are you doing an insight check on them? Do it with advantage now that I mean, Ack did one at a distance, and it was a pretty decent insight check. But you do one now with advantage now that you're right up near
For God's sake. 11.
him. um, yeah, I mean, the obvious first thing you notice is that they're all in the same attire. It's kind of like leather armor, and then it's covered in a black cloak with a hood up. They each seem to carry like different types of equipment on them. One has like a long sword. There's a bowman. One seems to have like daggers. Um, one doesn't carry any weapons at all. Um,
Look,
they,
it's an adventuring party.
Yeah, are they human? Are
it's,
they like
from
mixed
what
race or?
from what you can tell, it's human or as close to human as possible. There's no like exotic race there. It's all either human or elven or something like that.
And are they heading in the
But
same direction we are, or are they going
they're
in
heading in the opposite direction you're going in.
So they're going to Kaimal.
Yeah, they're at least going in that direction. Yeah.
Well, they did boast of their forces, so Robert won't pay too much hindrance from them, but he will keep a side eye to make sure they're continuing on that circle rather than sort of holding back and any attempt to follow us.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Keep like kind of one eye, like on your back the whole time, and continue riding.
That was very strange. I do not like the way they passed us so quickly.
I have my own theories about that, but it's too late. We have our lead and we have our mission, and
Of
we
course.
should we
So you
should
guys just continue riding on.
Yeah.
continue riding.
Yeah, that's fine. So you guys continue riding. Like Robert keeps an eye out behind him, but you keep riding on ahead.
How's my horse
Uh,
nowadays?
do you want to do another animal handling check with advantage to see if it liked the new language any better?
Probably not.
Nope.
Nope.
Even worse.
Well, the advantage is the 11, so it's the
Which
same.
what did it get last time? Is that the
11.
same?
Yeah.
Yeah. These dark languages, man. It doesn't seem to like them very much.
Okay.
Before we left, I did give a slice of apple to Cassie
Oh, of
because
course.
I'm gonna spoil her rotten.
You guys carry on. Uneventful, still trying to kind of shake off the night sleep along the road um, towards Westerun. After a couple of hours travel, you spot in the distance what seems to be the kind of remnants of these guys' campfire
Mhm. Hold
and their
that.
camp.
Oh, I'll
And
totally go and have a look.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I was
one of
yes.
the most obvious things as you approach is a sort of, it's like a kind of 3 foot wide, 6 foot tall cage, like barred cage,
Mhm.
and it has a man standing inside.
There is a man in a cage in the middle of a campsite that seems to be that of those adventurers.
Is it living?
uh you don't know,
Okay.
the eyes aren't open.
I give a rattle of the cage bars with my axe, just kind of almost like you would a cup kind of across the bars.
It's kind of a like a regular height, like 6'10", like 5'10", humanoid figure with like really long, dirty, scraggly hair that hangs down as he's kind of leaning his head on the bars. His clothes are like tattered and torn, and when you rattle the bars, his eyes open straight away, and he's like, "Oh, water, water."
I bring my water skin to the man.
He takes a drink, and he's just, "Thank you."
What are you
What does the
doing here,
cage look
friend?
like? What does the cage look like? Is it like a regular cage? Is there like stupid bits that protrude inside the cage to torture some
No,
more? No normal cage.
no. It's like, have you ever seen The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Yes.
It's straight up like Mad Martigan.
The
Like,
what?
No,
you
you're
know.
getting Willow confused.
Oh
No.
yeah, I am. Yeah, Willow. Mad Martigan from Willow.
Oh my god,
This is
so
like
far
straight up
away.
like Mad Martigan. You're right. I am
Oh,
getting Willow
How'd
confused.
you write that? Because I've never seen Willow in English.
Never
Uh,
seen it in English.
I didn't see Willow in English because I grew up in France, and when
No. I
went
was
on
asked. I
TV,
wasn't taking the Mickey. I was genuinely asking the question.
oh no, I haven't seen it in English because like I didn't feel the need to see it again in the past 20 years.
well, you
They talk
should.
about a sequel.
Incredible.
Well,
But yeah, it's
it made
it's
me think about it. Like for example, when the Dark Tower movie came out, it made me want to read the Dark Tower books in English, but I didn't.
Robert just head up to the cage and be like, "What are you doing here, friend?"
they kept me here. They came. They said that I was trying to rob them. I wasn't. Honestly, I'm just a simple traveler. I came here for asking for help, and they claimed that I was robbing them, and that I needed to be locked up and punished.
What is your name?
What's your name?
You're the one in the cage. I think
Please,
we have the right to ask questions.
please, would you please stop this? What does the prisoner look like on? I mean, it's 4v1, but do they look famished? Okay, Mad Martigan. Oh wow, what's even the name in French?
But yeah, that's kind of he's got like a bit of a Mad Martigan vibe, but he's definitely like definitely like peasant looking.
You
You,
peasant.
Robert, we are 4 versus 1. This man is no threat to us. And I start to try and find a way to open the case.
Oh, I totally want to do an insight check on this guy.
Yeah, sure.
I was going to do a perception check, see if or
I don't know if I believe what he's saying.
yeah. Oh, insight maybe.
18.
Yeah, he definitely looks down on his luck. Like not necessarily that he is like a beggar or anything like that, because he doesn't have like a beard, like a big beard or anything like that. Like he hasn't been like down on his luck for a long time. Like he's clearly like groomed sometime fairly recently, and like at least done something like that, like some sort of self-care. He hasn't been living rough for long.
Hmm.
Yeah. He
Do I
just
manage to
seems
free him?
there is just like a padlock on the cage. It's not anything special or anything like that. They clearly just grabbed this guy, um whatever they were doing.
I kind of
um
just give Ack the, okay, it looks like we're doing this, and sort of the palm kind of twist as if to say, huh, okay.
Hmm. Isn't Isn't Valerie a rogue?
She's
I
No.
thought
bard.
she's a
Bard.
bard. Okay. All right. Okay, fella. We'll get you out of there. Stand back as far as you can from the lock. Time for the locksmith.
And I throw my hands in the air like, oh, I am like out of there, and I like take like 5 steps
Yeah, I
away.
take like I step back.
You've all
so much faith in me.
you've all seen this before at this point. You swing the hammer, make a damage roll on the lock, just because it's
Okay.
good when you roll really low on it.
Good job. I hit it automatically. Really.
Yeah, but it does do enough damage to break the lock. Like that, it's only like it's not like a huge like padlock.
I think that's just about enough to break the lock off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it does break the lock. It doesn't even shatter it. It just kind of just knocks it open. But it does, and the door swings open, and he kind of falls to his knees, and he's like, oh, "Thank you, friends. This
I
it's
chuck
been
him. I chuck him a partial ration.
And he like picks it up and he just fucking wolfs it down, quick as a bee.
I feed him a couple of day-old sausages.
And he eats them and he's like, these sausages are delicious.
Yeah.
I've had some like these in Kymel before. You wouldn't be from Kymel, would you?
Indirectly.
I'm also from Kymel. My name is Marden. I just come from there.
Margin, you say?
Aye, that is me.
Do you mind if we ask you a couple of questions?
Sure. I
You
mean,
say you're
I
from
kind of owe you.
Kemal. How you say you're from Kemal? Were you born there? How long have you lived there?
I've lived there my entire life.
Why live it then?
Things are changing in Kymel since the Chroma Conclave. Certain people are unhappy with its current leadership and the efforts that have been put in to support the people. I found myself in a certain situation where I felt for my own safety and decided to leave.
Was this because you did not agree with the leadership?
Trust me, I'm sure you've met him. The leader, Jaktar, is a great man, very great. He cares greatly for his people. He puts his own interests very highly, but he definitely cares for his people, and I admire him for it.
So you support these efforts?
More than
Wait.
supportive, I would say great friends.
No, you
Wait,
say
you
your
said your
name is
name was
Mud.
Marden.
That's correct.
What
Were
do
you
know?
fleeing to wherever the hell it was the letter said he was fleeing to?
What do you know about God Shadow Mountain?
Why do you ask? It was the lair of an ancient black dragon.
Umbracials.
That's correct.
Yes. Well, it seems that your luck may be on your side this day. Not only have we released you from this prison, but we may be the saviors too. And he'll kind of unravel the letter that we found in his lair.
All right. I think I am gonna call it a night because it's
It's 11
Right.
o'clock in France and it's 10 o'clock everywhere else.
yeah, man.
I am very grateful because I am dead on my feet.
Yeah.
You
No,
go
that's
and get
okay.
yourself some rest, girl.
Oh, I didn't win the vocal rock contest, but my one of my best friends who was there with me did win, and he's going to the finals, so he's guaranteed a prize,
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Hey,
even if it's a free drink.
still free.
Hey, free is
Still a
free.
drink.
Can't go wrong with
I
free.
want to break free.
So did someone say something about leveling up?
I believe they did, you know.
Yeah, I seem to remember something like that, you know.
And Sam goes
Yes,
very, very
yes.
quiet.
No, yeah. You all got your first level up. So you're all
Nice.
level 4 now. Shall I finally give Nick permission to do everyone's character sheets because I totally forgot during the week?
Yes.
I will do that now before I forget.
Yeah, I personally I feel that I kind of enjoy the fact, but I feel that Robert's coming off really creepy to Vix, even though it's more kind of like he's trying to be like friendly and
Yeah,
cautious.
yeah. I think everyone comes across creepy to Vic.
There's definitely been some issues there in the past.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, Nick, I've given you permission to everyone's
Wicked.
character.
I'll get on it through the week when I can. I'll have a look over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weekend
Sorry
and
about like I
just
just totally forgot. Like
Nah,
every time that I
that's
did go on Roll20 to do something, afterwards I'd be like, oh fuck, I forgot.
nah, that's cool, bro. That's cool.
Right. If I remember correctly, Hobbit, isn't your schedule next week like insane?
Yeah.
Did you
Like,
say
if you
it
guys
was
want to
Thursdays
take
and
a time
Mondays?
and I can just jump in as soon